Best is Yet to Come is a podcast about dating later in life. It's co-hosted by Tonya Carter, Brenda Yamas, and me, Richard D'Ambrosio. We're all exploring dating from a fun but sophisticated, sexy, and smart perspective. And we're going to be tackling every issue that mature men and women face while seeking love, companionship, and yes, sex. So you can follow us on our private Facebook group and on our YouTube page. Please join us in this discussion about one of the most important things a human being can have, a relationship with a significant other. Welcome to episode 5 of The Best Is Yet to Come. Thank you, everybody who's sticking with us on this journey. We're almost at 100 downloads on the podcast. We should go over that number by the end of this week. So thank you for all of your support. Thank you for streaming us live on iTunes, on Spotify, wherever you're finding us. And what we're also hearing from people individually is that people are enjoying this more sophisticated conversation about dating at our age, and also being able to let loose every now and then with the realities of being men and women and having all of the desires and needs that come with a healthy human being. With me today, as always, are the gorgeous Brenda Yamas.
Hello.
And the incredibly vivacious, the vivacious and sexy.
Ooh, I'm liking that. Good morning.
And yes, it is morning. We are taping a different part of the day due to some weather issues that Brenda had over the weekend down in Puerto Rico. And today we're continuing the conversation about dating apps and dating online, because it does present a unique situation where you have to reach out to get the conversation started, to get the relationship started. And one of the things that we have seen through different pieces of research is, how do men and women navigate that? How do they become the first person to reach out? Because the Pew research that we talked about briefly in the past in episode 4 was around how women and men see whether or not they're getting enough messages, because that is the way it starts, ladies and gentlemen. If you are not reaching out to someone, you are putting yourself in a position where it could not be a happy experience for you. And what we found was that men say they're not getting enough messages. Women say, for the most part, I think it was about 45% of women are saying that, no, they're getting enough. And I think, and I was, hoping to discuss that now, from my perspective as a man, I would agree with those numbers. Women seem reluctant to be the first person to reach out. They wait. And so, men have to be the initiator. Ladies, when we went over that research last week, what's your general take on who launches the discussions and whether or not, there's a gender bias here?
Brenda?
Okay, I'll go. So I can definitely see that. I think for us women, especially us over 40, I was raised where, you don't make the first move, right? You wait for the man. And so we are a little bit more traditional in that sense. But I think what a lot of times we forget is that this is not a traditional way, right, of meeting people.
Yeah.
And so we definitely have to reach out. And I know it's hard because I've sometimes been like, oh, should I say something? But it's like, you know what can I lose? What can I lose if I don't say something,
I love the way you broke that down, that we have traditional behaviors that at our age we were trained with, but the tool is very unconventional and non-traditional, and maybe the two are working against each other. I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah,
Tonya?
I think so.
Well, I'm a Southern girl, so the societal norms for us is a whole nother bag of tricks,
Uh-huh.
the Georgia peach and the Southern belle and the being demure, that type of thing. But I have no problem reaching out. I might have earlier in life, but at 50, I have no problem reaching out. I'll reach out.
I think what I said to you guys last week, I think 3 women in the, was it? I've only actually been online actively like 5.5, 6 months total, because I did have 2 long-term relationships. I think only 3 women actually ever reached out to me first. One of them, all of her pictures were very dark, and there was always like a cat in the picture.
The cat lady.
Cat lady.
And the pictures were kind of dark, and I was getting this impression. And then the message that she sent me just didn't feel like she had a lot of confidence. And I'm saying to myself, is this a cat lady? Something about my profile spoke to her, but I like confident women. I like women who come at me and say, hey, this is what I like about you. And I'll tell you, the women that I have had dates with were the ones who said to me after 1 or 2 messages back and forth, enough of this. Give me your phone number. They were the ones who said, give me your phone number. Can we move this off the app to actually, I want to hear your voice.
So Richard,
yes.
Can I ask you? That's a great question, because I never know really what to say. So I'll say something like good morning, good afternoon, or whatever.
Right.
So as a man, what can a woman tell you when they're making the first move that it will pique your interest, but you won't think, oh, she's being too forward, or that won't turn you off? So what's the right balance between, oh, I'm interested, but enough without it being a turn off?
Right. So I'm only obviously speaking for myself. I don't know what % of the male population do I represent. I would like to believe that I represent the population that wants a relationship. Mm-hmm. So with only that to work off of, to me, what I'm looking to see, obviously, you're the initiator. I'm looking for you to say something about why you're initiating the conversation. When you wrote this about the types of books you read or the movies that you love, or gee, that picture of you traveling, is that Greece?
Yeah,
because
that's what I lead with.
Yeah, I'm looking for stuff where someone clearly has spent some time in my profile, found what they believe to be a connection. And that's what they're leading with, because that says to me, you're actually looking for somebody, not just a hookup, a casual dating relationship. You're really looking for somebody to share things with.
But just to break the ice.
Break the ice. It's hard for me to say what sounds like confidence. But confidence is definitely a biggie for me. Obviously, so if you send me a message, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to your profile and check you out. If I haven't liked you, and means I've already checked you out, then I'm going to go and take a look. And if I start to see a woman, I think I said this way back when in the series, smiles. If I don't see lots of smiles in your pictures, I'm probably going to be very casual with you and maybe even give you an impression that I'm not interested. But if I go to your profile, I see that you're smiling, I see that you do stuff. Now I'm starting to say, okay, I think this is a confident woman. And my reply back will be, what about Greece interests you? I had a great time. I was there for 8 days, and I went to Corfu, and I went to the, Cyclades, and I really enjoyed the food and the culture. And now I'm waiting to see if your reply back is, well, I've been to Italy, and I was always thinking the cultures were similar in terms of hospitality and the landscapes and the food. And now I'm going, oh, she's traveled.
Yeah.
Oh, she can intellectually compare things. And now you're starting to build my interest. And that has to develop, for me. Right. So, I'm doing all these assessments in the message phase. And so, if there's a tip, ladies, if you're listening and you're wondering what should I be saying, so you've already heard what I said you should be saying, make sure also that whatever you say jives with your profile. If
That's a good one.
if you've never traveled and you're going to say, hey, I see you traveling, why are you leading with that? If you see me with a dog picture or something and you say, I have dogs too, then start with that.
What has worked for you, Tonya? I'm curious.
What has worked for single over here, me with no man?
No, no, no. I mean, to get a conversation started. To get a conversation.
I'm doing silly. Exactly what you guys say. I would ask a question. I blocked the guy the other day because he said he liked to cook. And my opening was, what's your favorite meal? And he said, everything. And I said, what? Oh, okay. Well, everything. Your profile said you like to cook. What's your specialty dish? Everybody has a specialty dish. Right. He says, oh, I cook everything. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try one more question with this idiot. And I said, okay, if you could cook one dish today, what dish? What's your specialty dish? He said, seafood, any kind. I was like, block. Because
seafood, any kind.
I mean, everyone has a special dish. Everyone has something that they're known for.
How about shrimp scampi? If he had said shrimp scampi, what would you have said?
I would have been okay with that. I like to cook shrimp scampi. I like Alfredo sauces. I don't like marinara or anything, but everything. It was just like, my thing is complete sentences. I'm going to have a complete sentence. You don't have to have a PhD, but can you be at least 5th grade level with periods and commas? Can I have just a complete sentence? Because these one-word answers to me show a lack of interest in the conversation.
Yes.
You're not interested enough. You have this profile up and you're not even interested enough to take a time to give a complete sentence. I would even accept it. I like to cook all types of food. I'm busy now. I just want to touch bases with you. Can we pick up this conversation later? Right. Maybe I'm expecting, Brenda, maybe I need to do what you said and stop having expectations, but
I love what you said. Full sentences.
That's all.
Don't be ambiguous. You know what? I left that out of my answer to Brenda's question. Without a doubt, if I see a woman hedging in the conversation that she can't be specific about something, now I'm going to feel like she's like feeling me out for what she's going to say because she needs to repeat what I say instead of showing confidence and saying, look, if you don't like shrimp scampi, that's okay. But that's what I like. And I can tell you that.
Yeah. Because I asked you, what was your favorite meal? Not mine.
Exactly.
I'll give you mine, but what is your favorite dish? Seafood could be, is it eel? It could seafood.
It could be anything.
It could be catfish. It could be.
But I think the real issue, the real issue there is that clearly this person didn't have any communication skills, couldn't hold a conversation. You had to pry
and that's another
information out of it.
See, I can't do that.
That's a great point, Brenda. That's the other thing that's happening for all of our listeners. Anybody who you think is going to be an intellectually equal person to you, you're sending signals about your intellectual capacity.
Yeah.
If you're too vague, people are, anybody worth dating is going, unless you're not that intellectual an adult, which, hey, look, everybody's got their match. But for me, it's like, I'm looking for that level. I'm looking for oh, this is a thinker. This is an explorer. This is a seeker. That's what I'm looking for.
Exactly. Yes, I don't think you're writing your thesis. Just answer the question. And to your point, Richard, about traveling, coming from a travel snob, and then for full disclosure, I didn't really even start traveling. I think I was probably 30 or 35 when I received my first passport. So I wasn't like with a passport from the age of 12 or a newborn. So, but anyway, an avid traveler for the last 15 to 20 years. You have to be careful you ask people about traveling, because I was asked this girl, she's like, I travel all the time. I'm so glad you're a travel agent. I've been looking for a travel agent. I was like, oh my God. So where do you go? She says, well, I go to Florida and Savannah. Girl, we in Georgia. That's not traveling. That's a day trip. You know what I mean? So you really have to be specific, because she felt like she was traveling. I'm like, yeah, that's a day trip.
I've
That's
asked
a
that
3-hour
question
drive.
before. It's like, how many countries have you visited? Oh, well, I've traveled. Like, well, if you can't even tell me a country, that means you don't travel outside of the
Yeah,
country.
Right.
exactly. Because I mean, I can ask you guys, what's your favorite country? Without a shot, you just answer, maybe there's a couple that you like, but
Right.
there's one that you really, truly like.
Right.
It's the vagueness. As you said, you're ambiguous. Give me a direct answer. Be direct with me.
And it goes back to like our first couple of episodes where we're talking about how if you're going to get back in the game, back in the saddle, I think that was episode number 2. Do you know yourself? Have you spent the time on yourself to say, this is what I am? Because I will say, out of the 12, 14 women that I've dated since 2014, there have been a handful who didn't seem like they'd spent time on themselves.
We get to wondering if did their friend write the profile for them? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Did
Yeah.
you, or are you a chameleon? I've read somewhere with Brad Pitt, and I actually, when I read this about him, I hadn't noticed it, but I went back through his old photos, and it states that if you watch him, he becomes who he's dating. He was a little cute blonde with Angelina Jolie. He's the dark hair in Brooding when he was with say blonde with Jennifer Aniston. He has a dark hair with Angelina Jolie. And if you go back through his pictures, his dating photos, you will notice that he sort of does become who he's dating.
Yes, he looked like Gwyneth Paltrow. Remember, he
Yes,
dated
remember,
Gwyneth. It's
with
like
the blonde hair.
it looks like they both had the same hair color.
Right.
That's weird.
So if you're
Yeah.
thinking about this with these women online, they're just conforming to what you are. They're just, oh, he likes Italian food and white and red wine, and that's what I'm gonna say that I like.
Right.
That's so interesting.
So the first woman that I had a serious relationship with when I started dating again in 2014, I was starting to drink better wine because the woman that I had married, she kind of drank, the $12 bottles of wine. And regardless, of anybody's opinion of that, seriously, I used to get headaches. So if we opened up a bottle of wine together that she bought, I would get these headaches. And I didn't understand why. I never Googled it. I didn't realize certain types of wines is it the tannins? I forget what it is. There's something in certain kinds of wine that will potentially, in some people, cause headaches. And so now I start dating a woman who has a refined taste in wine. She especially loves Italian reds. And I'll never forget the time, like the first time we were together, where I said, you know what, I'm going to go get a bottle of red wine like you like. And like, the next day I told her, I'm going, I don't have a headache. This is really weird. And she said to me, well, you're drinking better wine now.
Yeah.
So if she had asked me, I don't think she did during the online dating app phase. If she had asked me, what kind of wine do you drink? She might have been turned off by my answer because I needed her to bring me along. So the converse of all of this is, don't shut somebody out during the dating app phase before you actually meet them because they're ambiguous. It may be that that person just hasn't met you yet and you could help them.
I have closed down Tanya's clinic for help of all men needing assistance. I'm so sorry. The doors are closed.
The doors are closed. So Lucy Van Pelt, the doctor is not in.
But in his response, what was there left for me to do? Seriously.
Right.
Did I really seriously? Because you guys, I know me that I need to stop myself sometimes. Did I block the dude too fast? Was it,
I don't think any of us can judge.
I don't know. But if it would have been me, not that I will block them, but it's like, how when you start conversations and they don't go anywhere like that, like it's so forced. Right. It's like, okay, dude, like
Yeah.
I'll
Exactly. That's what
clearly
it was.
either you can't talk or you're not interested. Let me just move on. Just let me just keep it moving. Because
Exactly.
I think there's nothing more frustrating than trying to hold a conversation with a complete stranger that you already, as a woman, you kind of put yourself out there. So I'm
Yeah.
already a little bit, hesitant because I initiated this conversation and then I have to like pull teeth. Like, no, I'm not
And this
going
is
for
on
that.
Bumble. His first question, you know how you have the question is
Mhm.
ask me about. His
Yeah.
flipping question was ask me about my favorite dish. Damn it, you should have a comeback. You literally asked me to ask you
Chose
about your
the
favorite.
question he couldn't
Yeah,
answer.
see? So
And
girl.
if you guys match, that means that both you and him
Oh my
swiped on
gosh.
each other and made a
Yeah,
connection.
yeah,
So
that's
it's not
true.
like you can say, oh, he wasn't interested. No. He swiped on you and you
Exactly.
guys matched. So there was some level of interest.
Tanya,
Girl, I
that
don't
is a
know.
man who doesn't think. He
Yeah.
Yeah,
gave
I
you
can't
the
do that.
overture. You took it, and he had no idea how to respond. I'm
Just threw a
sorry.
flat basketball. Just a
Yeah, he did. He really fumbled that one.
it didn't.
So ladies, let me ask you about Bumble. I've never been on Bumble. Tanya introduced me to the whole way that it works. Um, would you advise men who are looking for relationships and are complaining they don't get enough messages that they should have a Bumble profile?
So let me just say, and I'll jump in there quickly, Tanya. I love Bumble because people, for the most part, people have to write something. You just cannot get away with not saying anything. For the most part, I have seen some that are pretty blank. So to me, that's always a good flag, a green flag for me. If you took the time to fill out your profile and write something that makes sense,
Yeah.
then to me, okay, you're halfway interested, at least that much. And then now, the only thing about that is, in my experience, I think every time I connected with someone and I reached out, because in Bumble, you have to be the
Yeah.
person to reach out, they don't ever reply. So then I'm like, well, it expires. I unmatch and move on. But to me, in my experience, they have never replied to me.
Yeah.
Has that been the case for you, Tom? Well, besides this
Well,
dude right
the
here.
first day I got like 5 replies, but again, if you don't provide a complete sentence, I can't. So, in defense of the guys not replying on Bumble, here's a two-part answer. Number one, Richard, yes, I would say Bumble would be well for guys because the woman has to be an assertive woman. If she's introverted, if she's not assertive, then she's not going to go on Bumble
Mhm.
because we do make the first move on Bumble. So,
Right.
yes, that's a good place. If you're a shy man and you don't want to reach out, then Bumble is good for you because the woman has to say to you. Now, you can say that you like her, but again, to what Brenda said, if she doesn't like you, you're not going to match. I even swiped left on a guy so fast the other day, I don't even know what happened. And Bumble's like, oops, wait, you just missed your potential match. I'm like, so is the dude coming back around like a Ferris wheel? But in defense of the guys, in defense of the guys not reaching back out to you on Bumble, like you literally got to set a time clock on Bumble, Richard, because there's a 24-hour response period. I'm busy. I got stuff I'm doing. I can't. It's like when I was playing Farmville. I got to set my alarm clock and go, oh my God, check Bumble at least once a day because
Right.
if I don't, if I forget, then the invitation is going to expire.
Right.
But Richard, it does come back around. It will send you an email or say, oh, I saw that you and Mark matched. You didn't have a conversation. Would you like to extend yourself to him again? Right. So that's a good thing with Bumble. But if you're seriously looking for a date, then I would think you would be on there every day anyway.
Yeah. I mean, when I first got online, I waited until, so this was 2014. I waited until after Valentine's Day because I just didn't want to be kind of that, guy who jumps on, not be alone on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And I think it was like late February. And I had been listening to a podcast, a dating podcast. It wasn't for people of our age. It was just a general one. And his advice was, if you're going to use the apps, communicate. Just do it. Just like somebody if there's a like button, send them a message. Don't worry about it. But the more you do it, the higher the odds are someone's going to reply. And so I followed his advice. And for like the first month, I'm getting nothing back. And I'm going, wow, I guess I'm not a very good looking guy, or I'm a boring profile, or whatever. I'm kind of like getting a little dispirited. And then all of a sudden, women started responding. And funny enough, the woman who I had the relationship for 2.5 years, she said to me that she was getting ready to shut down the app because she'd been getting overtures from guys that were like weirdos. And then I came along and she was kind of surprised. And it worked out for 2.5 years. But, I was more persistent. I had learned once I had started following the advice, keep communicating, keep sending messages. Don't be too invested. But I did find what I'm curious to ask you, Tonya, for more detail. I think maybe 15% of the women I reached out to replied to me.
It's worse than that, looking for a job. I think you're
15
doing
back.
well.
Yeah, it felt like
I
putting
think
out a
it has to
resume.
be for me. I think it has to be for me is quality and not quantity.
Uh-huh.
I'd rather that one quality person respond than 10 people that I have absolutely zero interest in.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? I think, and as a woman over 40 dating, back when I was 40, there was there was a sermon, and not to make this a whole Christian thing, but anyway, Juanita
Go right
Bynum,
ahead. Some of us are Christians.
Juanita Bynum had a sermon that was, what was it, Between the Sheets or something like that. And her message in the Between the Sheets, if that's the correct thing, I can't remember, was that, ladies, if you're walking down the street and no man is saying anything to you, these, whistle callers or cat callers, then actually you've accomplished something, because you have set a standard that these guys who you're not interested in cannot meet. And so they're not even wasting their time approaching you, because they know that they don't meet your level of what you need. So if you're, Richard, not getting these replies, and as you said in maybe episode 1 or 2, we had a discussion, the duck lips and the bathroom photos, you wouldn't reply. If you got 100 of those replies from those chicks, you would just delete every one of them, because you have no interest in that, correct?
Correct.
So it's not that they're not finding you attractive, they're reading your profiles like, oh shit, this is not going to work for me. I'm going to have to keep going, because his expectations are higher than what I'm willing to escalate myself to.
Isn't it interesting, though, that most of us don't take it that way? Most of us take it the opposite
what's wrong
way.
with me?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Instead of saying, okay, they weren't at my level. I like your way better.
Right? I give myself an excuse to be horrible and not take the blame. The average narcissist. But seriously, I don't think it's us. I think it's even me. Listen, there are levels to everything. If I look at a guy's profile and I know I'm not what he's looking for, or I don't feel like I want to do what he's going to require me, I just swipe left. No love lost.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think it's a positive.
Okay. Brenda?
No, I agree with Tonya. And my apologies. I realized that I didn't answer your question, the previous question. I definitely think that men should be a Bumble, because of that. Because if you really want to make sure you get people that are really interested in you and what you have to say and who you are as a person, I think that's the best one. But like I can't help but think again, Tonya, like a marketer, like you got to repel the ones that are not your ideal clients, right?
Exactly.
That's it.
She has a marketing plan for the guy she's dating. So I have a question for you guys. I refuse to spend one penny on a dating site. Like my email says, all of these guys want to see you. Pay whatever it is. I'm like, child, if I can't meet this dude for free, I'm not going to do it. So do you, Richard or Brenda, would you be willing to pay the monthly, whatever it is?
Both times that I had a Match account, I paid. I
I
paid
think
to have the full features. Yeah.
I think it has a lot to do with where you are in life. And we talked about this. We read something about this not too long ago. I have a business coach outside of the industry who she has at the point in her life, she's making really good money. She's doing really well. She's worked on some things personally, right? So she's ready to date and to date with a purpose. She has a dating coach that probably costs in the thousands of dollars, like we talked about before, right? So I think it depends on where people are in their lives. So I think it just depends how serious you are. Like right now, I feel myself at this point in my life, I feel like I don't want to pay for it like you, Tonya. So I'm just going to see what's out there for free. If it gets to a point where I'm like really serious about, okay, listen, I really want to have, I want to be, what is it? What's that? I want to be, I'm serious about cuffing season.
Yeah,
And I need to have,
I
I need to find somebody before the weather turns. And here, it'll be late November, if at all. Uh, then I'm probably going to invest a little bit more about it because of the quality of the matches that I've been getting. Like maybe I was hoping that if I pay for, because I mean, you look at it, if I paid, I'm probably going to match with somebody that's also paying for it. Don't you think? I don't know if that's true.
But
I don't know
some
how
people,
it
if
works.
you have money, you can be. There are rich assholes out here that's been proven.
Oh, that is
you know
true.
what I mean?
But that rich asshole is probably serious about finding someone.
But
You
he's still
think?
an asshole.
But he's still.
Hey, there's somebody out there for everybody. I just ain't the one, but there'll be somebody.
One of my friends told me about It's Just Lunch.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was just basically like a dating app like Bumble, but it's actually a matchmaking service.
Yes.
And I can't find the price, but I
So
know
is
that it
so
was
is
much
Talkify.
more.
Talkify has been.
Shopify.
I haven't clicked on the ad because I'm not gonna. But it looks like a high-end matchmaking service that you purchase, and they do a lot of the work for you. So there are other services that are, boy, you can really pay. I'm trying to remember. I think my match, the last time I had a paid match would have been 2019.
So how much do you pay? Like,
I think it was like
in
$159 for the year.
Oh,
Yeah.
would I be willing to give $159 a year?
And I forget what I got for that, Tonya, versus the free version. I think I got more messages, maybe like unlimited messages.
Yes.
I don't remember very specifically what the differences were. And I didn't get like the premium version. I got like the entry level paid version above the free.
Okay.
Right.
Maybe I mean, maybe if it's $10 a month or something, maybe I would invest $10 for 1 or 2 months. But.
So you ladies did not find that by not being, and I use the word aggressive only meaning proactive, by not being aggressive and messaging out, you didn't find any difference in either the amount of time to find a match or to at least start talking to somebody. It did not, the volume of your outbound messages did not seem to impact your results, because it did for me.
I think that, of course, we're going to receive more messages when the men can just send us a message.
Yes.
All willy-nilly. And that's because, again, you go out of quantity and not a quality of people who are sending you messages.
Yes.
So I definitely don't want the quantity.
Right.
So yes, if they can message me first, I receive more messages. But here, I'd rather reach out to the guy on Bumble. If he looks at me, he doesn't like me, he doesn't respond, fine. It's not personal.
Right.
So, if I cast my, net out there 5 or 6 times and I get one answer, I'm completely fine with that. Less people to block later on.
I have only been on Match. I did eHarmony at the very, very beginning. And I think I mentioned this to everybody. For some reason, I was getting women with like this heavy Christian background in their profile. I'm looking for a Christian husband. I'm looking for and I just, I dropped that pretty quickly, eHarmony. I think I was on OkCupid in 2014.
Oh yeah, I remember OkCupid.
Oh,
I have never seen any of the other apps. So there's there's Tinder, which I always thought was just a sexual hookup app, but apparently it's gotten better. I heard of something called kettle of fish. Never even looked at it.
Plenty of
Plenty
fish.
of fish.
Now I know two couples who met on Plenty of Fish,
Uh-huh.
and they were married.
See?
Now I call
Hmm.
it Plenty of Freaks, which is his well-known name, because
Oh,
Plenty of
really?
Freaks. Yes, it's so funny. It's like Plenty of Freaks because listen,
Why? Were they really freaky people?
I think the tender people sort of migrated over to Plenty of Freaks, and that's
Uh-huh.
pretty much been what it is. I
Right.
mean, but I remember doing OK Cupid, or at least visiting this site. I don't think I created a membership.
Right.
And then eHarmony, I did eHarmony. You remember they would run this free weekends. I think
Yes.
you would register and got a free month or something or
Right.
whatever. I did eHarmony like that for the free thing. My thing is I'm no more dedicated to it than I am to dieting, and that's horrible on both ends.
Oh my gosh.
It's like I'm gonna join this dating site, and then I'm so bipolar when it comes to these sites
Uh-huh.
because I don't want to put forth the effort. I know that's horrible.
I don't I don't like the word horrible, but from what I have read in different articles and what those two individuals who used to run that eHarmony podcast, the dating podcast, said was you have to be intentional with these apps if you want to get out of it something meaningful. If you don't put the effort in, you're going to get the lack of effort. And so the podcast, listening to that podcast is what caused me to do what I did. Otherwise, it would have been trial by error for me when I first joined.
Hmm. That's
Well,
a great one.
consistency.
That
We
was a
need to
word that
treat it
he
like a
used.
job. You again back to you said being intentional. I need to say, girl, check this Bumble at least once a day.
Right.
So that you can reply to these people.
It's one of the reasons why I'm not right now on a dating app is I just would not be on it every day, checking it out. Whenever I had lots of dates. I had no freaks. So I think the
Poor
intention,
baby.
the
Everybody needs a good
intentionality,
freak in their life. At least one good freak in your life. Damn it, Richard.
just a
Need
little
the
bit of
crazy.
freakiness, just a little bit.
Yeah. I think here's the sad thing. Is I'm so comfortable just not being bothered.
Uh-huh.
I am so 100% comfortable. I
Yeah.
never thought I would be like just so comfortable that I just like, God.
I feel like you, Tanya, is like, do I really want to put all this effort just to, because I'm happy, right? It would be great to, like here, it would be
Yeah.
great to go hang out with somebody at the beach every once in a while, like
Yeah.
adults only, right? Like not without the kids. But do I really want to expend all this energy for
And
that? Like,
effort.
how do you know? Like, I'm happy. How do you know?
No. And the worst thing you can do is to be comfortable in any situation.
So let me ask you both a question. How important is it for you right now to have someone in your life who is more than just a girlfriend kind of relationship, more than just a male platonic friend relationship? Is it important to you? Because I will tell you right now, while I am a little stressed out by work, by what COVID has done to work, by some other things that are going on in my life, I do have a female friend right now who I'm fond of. I love talking to her. I confide in her quite a bit because I do feel I can trust her. And I have told her outright, I could see me dating you. She's single. I've said to her, I look forward to hearing your voice. And I look for, I love hearing what's going on in your life and those things. That's important to me. So if I was to get on a dating app, I would be extremely intentional. I just, it's important for me to have a significant other.
Like I don't
I don't
want
know.
you to do is just like knocking on my door every day, like, babe, I'm home. I would probably suffocate it. But it would be nice. So I have male friends and friends I speak to on the phone.
Uh-huh.
So so they're covering me with the male companionship I just have to have.
Right.
They're all platonic. There's nothing sexual going on.
Right.
But we laugh, we talk, we hang up the phone. There's no relationship drama. Like, I
Right.
don't have to try to figure out. Like, we're always 100% honest with each other. And that you just cannot get in a relationship. So, do I want to give up
Ooh,
my
did you hear what you just said?
you can't with these guys. You cannot get that 100%
Wow.
honesty when you're dating them. I
That's
have
sad.
this honesty from my male friends, and I'm comfortable talking to them and hanging out with them.
Right.
So yeah, I'm going to Bahamas in December. If I had a travel partner, great.
Right.
We can travel together. We go out to eat together. We can go to concerts and stuff and do that type of thing. I'm good with that. We can even get a little jiggy with it every once in a while. I just don't want to feel like
Wasn't that a
somebody's gonna tell
song?
me. Yeah, that's what Will Smith.
Yes.
I just
Is that what
don't
that song meant?
No,
never knew.
no, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't
I'm
think
just
so.
being
I don't think
silly.
so.
Okay.
But I just don't want anyone to just come here and suffocate me. I just don't need like, honey, I'm home. I don't need
Right.
Ricky Ricardo coming across my
So,
doorstep every
so
day.
Tonya, maybe we just need to reframe it, right? Because probably whatever men, whoever's out there also looking for a partner doesn't want to be suffocated either. Because let's face it, those of us over a certain age, we're kind of set in our ways. We're used to our personal space. If I ever live with someone else, I need to have my own. What is it that they call the ladies? The she shed,
No, see,
the
my
she
husband,
room, the she cave, something. I need something. Half the
I'm gonna have to have a
house.
duplex.
F the
I'm gonna have to have a
house.
duplex. I'm gonna have to have a
No.
duplex.
Brenda
think-
is fencing off half the house.
Hey,
I'm
Sorry,
with that.
listen.
you do
See?
not cross over the yellow line. I painted it right there.
listen,
I'm with
right?
that.
You don't
need a
talk to me before
duplex.
10 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
No, no,
I
no,
like
no. I'm
that.
Oh,
joking.
Brenda,
I'm joking.
no
but
morning surprises.
oh yeah, plenty of money suppressor. We just
Okay.
don't have to
Yeah.
talk.
Okay.
You don't see. She didn't say no.
Does
She
oh
said
my
no
God
talking.
count as
Shut the
talking?
hell up. Come in.
Yes, but
Perform your
let's
manly duties and go back next door where you live.
yes, there you go.
I would
Exactly.
like to
Let me.
duplex. Seriously, if I had to get married again, and I know this guy, if you're out here and you listen to me, I'm here. We right here together.
Right.
Like, why can't we have a duplex? One side is mine, one side is yours. We have a door between them. We can come over for visits and we can go hang out. But at night, I go to my house, you go to your house.
So wait. Do you think our grandparents? Because I remember seeing 2 beds in my
Yes.
grandparents'
Ricky
room.
Ricardo and Lucy had
Yes.
2 beds.
And I
Yeah.
used to think that was so crazy. Like, oh man,
Yeah, me too. I was like,
I'd
why
never
do
have
they?
2 beds. Now I
I
want 2 whole
shocked when
houses.
I saw 2 bedrooms in my grandparents' room. Like,
So there's this one person I dated for a very long time, and we did not have the same styles in terms of keeping our homes. And yet I never had a problem with staying with her for 3 or 4 days straight. I had adjustments that I had to make. We slept in the same bed. We woke up together in the morning, and I kind of enjoyed that because in my marriage, for a good 6 or 7 years, I was sleeping on the couch because the relationship had so broken down, and my emotional depression of lying in a bed with someone who I knew clearly didn't care about me anymore was too much. And I just said, I'm decamping to the den, to a very uncomfortable couch. But I don't want to go back there. I don't want to go back to a place where the person who I'm investing, hopefully the rest of my life with, that we can't, figure out how to make our homes work together. I could never be in a duplex complex and we're sleeping side by side with a wall between us. No.
I don't think we have to sleep side by side every night, Richard. I'm okay. I can snuggle. We can cuff, but at some point, and then maybe because I've been single for so long, maybe Mr. Big gonna come walk across my door and we're gonna fall in love, and my duplex theory is gonna be all the way out the window.
I
You know?
hope so.
Let us hope. But the duplex thing is not because we can't sleep together every night, but just like every once in a while,
Right.
I'm gonna need you to go next door. So it's
Okay.
not like he has to be over there every night. It's just that, can I just be Tonya? We just get so caught up. We give so much of ourselves to a relationship.
Yep.
We don't get a chance to exhale. I cannot be from 55 to 95 just aggravated without a break. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without just
think
having this time to myself.
Absolutely. I
I love
understand
it.
that.
So he doesn't have to be there every day, but dude's gonna have to go somewhere at some point, or I'm gonna have to leave. I just think it's healthy. I was talking to my sister yesterday. Damn, I should have said sister, but I was talking to my sister yesterday about the lack of communications in some relationships.
Right.
And there has to be an understanding that I have to be me and you have to be comfortable with me being me, because I have to have this time to myself. Does not take away from my love for you. It does not mean that you're doing something wrong. It just means that I have to have this time for me.
Right.
So if we're going to live in the same house together, and I can go to this motel room or somewhere without you thinking I'm cheating, if you can't handle that, then you're going to need to duplex next door, because I just have, okay, I had one marriage where the communication was awful. I would never be in another relationship where we can't communicate. And I think that's why I'm so quick to block and delete these people, these one word sentences. You
Yeah.
have already showed me your lack of communication, and I cannot.
And
Were
I
we
think
talking about this, or did I read this somewhere? When you got to keep telling the person the same thing over and over and over and
yes,
over.
I posted about that the other day.
That's you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Richard, what is,
Well, I think, Tonya, what you're also expressing, I mean, we see that in your professional side. You went and got a journalism degree. You are a communicator. That is part of
I'm
your
still working on my
DNA.
degree, but I'm very close to it. A couple of classes from it, but
You know,
yeah,
that
yeah.
it's in your DNA. And I wonder if during that initial messaging phase, do a lot of guys pick up on that this is a communicator? I wonder if that impacts you at all, because notoriously men are not as good communicators as women. They're not as clear and clarified and whatever. So I'm
Well,
curious.
Brenda can tell you, a good communicator becomes a strong, black, aggressive woman.
Uh,
Right, Brenda?
Yes,
That's
yes,
unfortunate.
I've been called that.
I want you
But I
aggressive
think
in the bedroom, but shut the hell up outside of it. Right?
I think what you have such a great point, Tanya. We talked about this before, where right, how do you even know that you're ready for dating? And I think this is very important because Tanya knows herself. Tanya knows what she needs. A lot of women don't know these things, right? Like you said, oh my God, like I need time off. I'm an introvert. I really am an introvert. After the week that I had around other people, I need to come home and I need to be on my own cocoon, right? And I need to nurse my introverted self. And I even did that while I was gone. Like I did what I had to do, but then every time I got a break, I was in my room, like, by myself because I needed that.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important that people understand themselves and what they need so they can find someone that is a good balance to what you need. Because like if Tanya went and met someone that needs to be right up under her 24/7, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. That would have worked for a 21 to 30-year-old Tanya, but that's not going to work for me.
Understanding who you are. Don't even start messaging until you know who you are. Because if you're looking at a woman's profile, a man's profile, and you're just like sending out a message because they're attractive, that's a losing proposition. But if you read something and you like that part of them, that they love dogs or they travel a lot, whatever, and you know that about yourself, great. Know thyself and start with that. I heard the second thing is, and I think we've kind of debated it, but I think we've all netted out at the same place. Be intentional. Don't just say, hey, hi, have something to say, put something out there that makes the other person go, oh, Ladies, as always, thank you so much. Episode 6. What did we say we were going to talk about on episode 6? I can't remember.
Is when do we have the guests coming in?
The guests will start coming in November. FYI, we have some fantastic people who have asked to join us. If you are in the market for dating and you're listening to this podcast and you have fun stories to tell about positives. We're going to be doing horror stories on Halloween, so stay tuned for that. If you have a horror story, please join our private Facebook group, message us. We would love to have your horror story, even if you don't want to be on the Halloween podcast. We can still tell your story for you. So October the 10th, do you really know what you want from a significant other? And how do I know what I'm looking for? So that's going to be our October 10th episode. And we've actually started discussing it a lot right now amongst the three of us is, to thine own self be true, because you want to be true to what you're looking for. And then we're also going to be talking about how do you balance online and offline? Right now, I've been completely offline, and I think I may have a prospect, a dating prospect. And I don't know that I want to go online right now. I don't think I've ever done both. I'm just wondering, ladies, before we hang up, are you guys like on the fence about dating right now? Do I have two partners who are just like me, struggling with the whole concept? Do I even want to be dating right now?
I'm such a hypocrite because remember episode 1, I was like, I'm going to date. If you do it the first night, you do it. You do what you do. I'm all about me. And the first dude is like, hey, I want to come see you. I was like, I don't even know you like that. Like, I'm going to need like 6 months to know you before we start doing anything other than saying hello. So don't even listen to me anymore.
Okay, I won't listen to you anymore. Oh my God.
No, I think it's just reality sets in, right? When you what the desires of your heart are.
Right.
But then reality is like, ooh, maybe just not the right person. It hasn't given you that thing. And as much as I say that I would like a companion, I also think like we talked, right? The logistics of it.
Yeah.
For me, the
and
right person.
You have very different practical considerations than Tonya and I do.
Right. And your daughters,
That's what I meant.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly that,
And we'll be talking about that at length as well. We've talked about it a little bit. Tonya recounted what it was like to date when her daughter was small and how she had been influenced by some creepy things she had seen when she was a young woman. So we're going to be talking extensively about dating with different staged children. My youngest was 10 when he met a girlfriend of mine. And now, my kids, the youngest is 18. So I've got that full gamut of, experiences. Really curious to hear from anybody who's had a child under the age of 10. How do you do that? A child who's 3 or 4, you got divorced. You're really in the midst of raising a child, a child in their teen years have pretty much been raised. There's still some work to do. But it's not like, a 4 or 5-year-old who doesn't have all the concepts of mommy and daddy are not together and there's this other person, and so many fascinating conversations to still have, whether we're dating or not.
Absolutely.
Look like we're going to be pushing it back with you, Richard. I see January or February as my first date, maybe, hopefully.
I don't know when that's going to be for me. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
I have to say hello to Jackie. Hello, Jackie. I have a saying, you guys. I'm going to start giving out autographs and everything. Hey, Jackie.
Oh, you have fans. Oh, nice.
As well you should, because you are one of the most fun and entertaining and helpful people. I think you should have fans. You should have a fan club. We're going to start the Tonya Carter fan club.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay.
$5 autograph.
Stay tuned for more from The Best Is Yet to Come, because this is a podcast about dating later in life, and we will continue this as long as you're listening. Stay tuned for more. Ladies, God bless you both. See you soon.
Happy Sunday. Bye-bye.
Happy Sunday.